In this lesson, we will look at sets. So we looked at lists earlier. So remember, if I do my list, we can initiate a list using two square brackets, or we can add items inside the list, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is essentially a list. For a set, sets are grouped using curly brackets. So you can initialize a set using two square curly brackets and have them empty. Alternatively, you can also initiate a set by just simply saying set and having that as empty as well. So either one will look fine. So if you can do print your set, you can do print my set. In this case, you see it's empty. Now, how do we add items into a set? Let's create a set first, and let's add things like apple, banana, if I could spell properly, and let's add orange, orange. And let's print my set. And you can see our set there contains orange, banana, and apple. Notice that I put my set as apple, banana, orange, but inside the set it says orange, banana, and apple. Why is that different from a list? Notice in the list here, if I would now print my list up here, notice that the order is retained. So lists, as I mentioned in the previous lesson, lists are ordered, meaning the order that you put the items inside, it will be maintained. For sets, the order is not maintained. It is what we call an unordered system. So I placed apple, banana, orange, but inside is orange, banana, apple. Sets also have to contain unique values. For example, if you go back up here in my list, if I put in another set of 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I print that, I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 1, 2, 3, 4. If I change this and try to add another banana, or maybe another apple, and I run this, notice it remains the same as orange, banana, and apple. These cannot have any duplicates. So what's the purpose of having a set? If you need to simply store a set of values inside an array or a construct, and you don't want them to put in any duplicate values, you can use a set. So examples would be if you're creating a program that stores student IDs or email addresses, you don't want to have duplicates of those. So we've seen how we've added to lists. So if you remember, we use the append or insert in lists. So in sets, when we want to be able to add an item inside, we use the add method. So we have our set here, orange, banana, apple. If I wanted to add something else inside, I can say my set, add, and let's add, let's say kiwi. And let's print my set again. So we see the progress of our contents. And now we have kiwi. Notice again, you can't expect kiwi to come at the end of the set. It will still be inside. Now, how do we access these? Now, unlike lists, remember in lists, if we go back up here, I can say print my list, and I can specify a particular index. And that gives me the value. So if I say 3, remember this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Therefore, I'm getting the value of 4 because of the index. We cannot do that with sets. If I do a print, let's bring it up here instead, and I say print my set and try to put in 2. Notice I get that error. You cannot access the index of a particular set. So if you can't access it, what's the purpose of having this? The purpose here is that rather than just accessing it that way, we want to know if, let's say, there is a banana inside. We can say if and we can say banana in my set. Then we can say print, there is a banana in the set, for example. If you run this, and notice that now it says that we can see if it's inside. By the way, in a list, we can do the same. We can also say if, let's say, let's give it a, okay, let's do if 3 in my list. Let's say print, there is a 3 in my list. You can do the same with the list. You can do it with the set as well. So accessing items in a set is you basically use the in function to determine what's inside. So using add allows you to be able to add single items inside. If, let's say, we wanted to add a little bit more, so let's do print my set first so that we see what we have inside. And then we can do, let's create another list. Let's say, let's do my list. We have my list up there. So do print my list. So we have orange, banana, kiwi, and apple, and then my list. I can actually do an update and say my set and update this and put in my list inside. Let's see what happens now to my set. So I have my set, orange, banana, kiwi, apple, and I had my list, which was the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, what we have up here. And now I said update. We're updating my set with the contents of my list, and it adds it inside the set. This doesn't have to be a list. It can be another set, or it can even be a dictionary. We'll cover dictionaries in the later lessons. But you can use update if you want to add multiple items into the set. Now, how do we remove items from the set? To remove items from the set, you don't specify the index, you specify the item. So let's do this. So let's print my set again. So we see we have this. I can now choose to remove, and I say my set, and I want to remove the kiwi. And let's see what happens after that. Do my set. So my set originally is this, and I said now remove kiwi, and you notice now it has removed it. Now, what if I have my set and I try to remove something like that doesn't exist there? Let's say my set dot remove, and I want to remove kiwi again, but kiwi is no longer there. Okay, so let's see this. Let's see what happens after my set. And you get an error. You're getting an error because you're trying to remove an item that's not inside the set. So you'll get that error if you're using remove. If you want to try and remove items that is not inside, so let's do my set again. So we have removed the kiwi already. So let's say this time I want to try and remove it, but I don't want to get the error. We use the keyword discard. So let's try this. Let's try kiwi. So we're trying to remove kiwi, and I'll do a print my set again. And you see it tried to discard or remove the item called kiwi, but it's not present. It will not give you an error. It will just not change the set. So that's the difference between remove and discard from a set. There's another way of removing an item, and it's called pop. Remember, we tried using pop from the list, which allows us to remove from the ends of the list. This time, we will try to use pop inside. So in this case, we will do removed item, similar to how we did in the list. We tried to save and determine which one was removed. Let's say my set, and then we'll do pop. Now, pop removes a random item. So let's say print, let's do a formatted string, removed item is removed item. Okay, don't get confused that in here we're also using curly brackets. This is not a list, this is a variable placeholder which is used inside a formatted string. And then after that we'll do print my set. And it removed the value number 1. Now remember this one gets saved, okay? So let's try and do this again to duplicate it. And let's run this one over here. It has 2, 3, 4, apple, orange, banana, and it removed item number 2. Okay, so pop allows us to be able to remove certain items in the list, in the set. So remember, this is a random item. Okay, so it just so happens that it's removing the first. Let's see if it will remove any other item. And now it's removed 3. Okay, so far it's removing just the start. But bear in mind that by design, the pop item actually removes a random item from inside. If you want to clear or remove all the items from the set, you simply do my set and that clear. And if we do this, if we print my set, then it's now empty. And similar to lists, if you want to delete it, you simply say del and do my set. And if we do this and I try to print my set, I should get an error. Because after deleting the set, this one does not exist anymore, and trying to print it will result in an error. So those are the two differences between lists and sets. So they function almost similarly, storing multiple values. Sets are unordered, so the order is always going to be depending on how Python will interpret it. So you cannot control that. You cannot have duplicates in set, and you cannot access the items in a set by its index. You'll have to use the in function as we saw in this example to be able to see if an item is in the set. Okay, so that's the lesson for now, and I'll catch you on the next one.